So, you passed your Abitur and afterwards either went on a trip to Australia or New Zealand because you're not like the other girls, or you stayed at home, worked as a waiter, watched every video on YouTube twice and developed a heavy apple juice addiction. Doesn't matter which path you chose, sooner or later your parents will threaten to kick you out, resulting in you finally applying to your dream university. And in case you haven't decided which degree you want to make yet, here are some wisdoms that helped me finding my passion. With that enlightenment and a few emails sent to the university, you are finally enlisted. Now you can either keep living with your parents, trust me, a very smart decision, or move out and get a shared flat or your very own 12 square meter apartment to achieve the full uni experience. Skip ahead a bit to your first day of university, which usually is the beginning of the O-Woche or orientation week. While technically there are lectures which you'll actually attend because everything is new and you don't want to miss anything, the goal of this week is to introduce you to other, also very lonely and lost students, visit everything that comes close to a bar in a 10-kilometer radius, and to show you the university life in general. Oh, and by university life I mean drinking, a heavy sleep deficit and canned ravioli, so better get used to it. But now your actual university time begins. Remember those lectures? You soon realize that the number of students actually attending them drops faster than your GameStop investment. At least half the people you've met during the orientation week have literally disappeared. This all might be due to the fact that 1, you can find all the lectures and a lot of learning material available online at all times, and 2, there are almost always very important appointments like flunkyball games during the lectures. For those of you who don't know, flunkyball is a game where 2 teams, size doesn't matter, take turns to throw a ball at an empty bottle in the middle. Whenever the bottle falls to the ground, every member of the team who hit it is allowed to drink from their own bottle until the amount of liquid equals the work you put in this semester. However, it's not just the lectures that are getting skipped, but rather studying in general. The most important rule is to live life to the fullest in the present. Studying is something for your future self. In terms of money, you are actually in a really decent place in Germany. State universities are basically free, except for a low attendance fee and some optional books. The most expensive thing for you will probably be your apartment and the grocery shopping. So, in case you're a bit tight in terms of money right now, I made a list that includes every item necessary for you to be considered a real student without having to fear bankruptcy. Just keep in mind that sometimes uni and the whole living alone thing can be tough. That's why you should consider to find yourself a hobby. For most students, this hobby is called drinking. You can drink with your friends, in a club, on private parties, public parties, in various student fraternities, during your lectures, or even alone. It's just very important to keep telling yourself that you could stop drinking at any time if you just wanted to clarify that you're not an alcoholic. If drinking isn't for you, some kind of sports is always a great option. I personally enjoy going to the gym, which makes you physically more attractive and you will get some compliments every now and then. Besides the whole partying thing, sex is one of the biggest topics that comes to mind when thinking about university. That's why I just wanted to share some experiences with you. Now, remember that future self I was talking about earlier? That's now your present self, forcing you to do something nobody could have seen coming. Actual studying. And although you might find a way to get some useful notes from someone who actually partook in your classes and the internet, this still means no sun, no exercising, no happiness for the foreseeable future. Just loads of information penetrating your brain. At least having your own flat pays off now, because this chick called Algebra really seems to be interested in spending some nights with you. Alright, after weeks of studying, you've written your first exam. Great, have another one. And another one. Actually, just take another 1 or 2. If that's too much for you, no worries. Schieben or postponing your exams is always an option. But once again, your future self will have to suffer for your idleness. Even if you've written all of them, better pray you didn't fail any, or you will be back for the same one in a couple of months. I mean, the good thing is you got multiple attempts to pass your exams. Still, learning everything again might not be the number one thing you have in mind for a hot week at the end of August. However, this was just the first bachelor semester and there are many more to come, plus your master afterwards. Luckily, you're a smart human being, thus you've learned from your most recent mistakes and will start to study earlier next time. Anyways, that's it for today. Let me know if there's any topic you want me to cover in the next video, and until then, take care, in a bit.